Okay, hi everyone. So this is part 3 of our projector demos. So I'm going to talk about attaching a universal mount for a projector, something like this thing. Here, can we see? So this is quite an old model that I got a while ago, Telehook. But this sort of a thing, right? So we can attach to a ceiling. So we've got several different parts here. So this right here would be what we actually attach to the ceiling. This, we would need the proper anchors and all that, like I've discussed before. This is okay for ceilings that might be angled, this certain one. So we would just adjust this setting. So if the ceiling was angled like this, let's say, then this cylinder coming down, we would adjust these things here, so it's pointing straight down. But the thing to maybe start with, let's look at this. So we've got this other part. This is what actually gets attached to the projector. So we attach this to the projector first, and then we would put this in the ceiling, install that. And then once we have the projector and this little part together, then it kind of fits together like really easily. If I just do this really quick, just to kind of show this little part. And this, most universal mounts will work this way. So in most projectors, this is a kind of general standardized way that these things work. So I take this thing out. Here we go. And we could see, just take that. And then let's imagine okay, I've got my projector on this right now. Just pull that up. And then when we put this back in, right now it's holding that up. And then when we put the bolt in there, it'll keep that steady. But let's have a look at how we might get this thing attached to the projector. So if we look, here we go, hands, okay. My hands look just completely, I got working hands. Look, it's like nasty. It's terrible. I need to use some lotion or something. Okay, so at the bottom of any projector, so you can see the top of mine here, bottom, we have these, can we see it? There, okay. These little screw holes, you see right there's 1, 2, 3. Normally there's at least 3, sometimes 4 or 5 all over. So these are the screw points that we would place. So if we did something like this maybe, right? Right, so you have to kind of align your mount to where those screw holes are and then screw it in. So the important thing is you have to try to find the center of gravity. Typically it's going to be the kind of center of the projector. Not always the case, I guess, but I don't know. One test we could do is you kind of try to balance it a little bit like this. So put your hand, right, so I'm roughly in the center of the projector and it's balancing pretty good. So I'm just kind of confirming that, okay, the center part here is actually the center of gravity. So that's where you want this sort of the main cylinder to be coming up, right? But for this, it's not really rocket science. It's basically the center of the projector. So as I place this, I can see, right, so these things aren't quite lined up to the screw holes here. So usually these mounts would come with the proper tool. In this case, I don't know if you could see, there's a little hex screws right here. So it comes with this little hex wrench, also called an Allen wrench sometimes. So all we need to do is, let's see, let me line that up a little bit. So maybe I'll just loosen these. So let's see, lefty loosey, righty tighty. There we go, and I'll loosen this one a little bit. Okay, and so we can get that in place. That one needs to stretch a little bit more. Actually, like that. Does that work? If that goes out a little bit. Okay, so that's roughly okay. So then we tighten it, and then there should be, let me see if there's proper spacers here. So it'll come with the right. Usually there's a kind of any one of these mounts would come with various sizes of screws. Most projectors would have the same size to screw in, but it's good to have options, I guess, just in case. And so once I have this lined up, right, tighten these spots. Usually we would also have some sort of a little spacer. I used to have taller ones, actually. I don't know where they went to, but it might help just to kind of line up the screw, right? You can put this little spacer there. It helps add some pressure. You just put that over the hole, and then screw it in, and then it's set. Once that's all screwed in, you kind of test, right? Pick it up just by this, and it should feel, right? It shouldn't feel like it's leaning one way or another. That kind of confirms that you kind of have the center of gravity working okay. For my projector, there's this third hole that's right in the center there, so it's kind of right over the spot where this is. So it's kind of hard to impossible to get a third arm in there. Usually you want to have at least 3 arms that are connected to the projector just for safety. This projector is so light that it's not as necessary. And like our bigger Panasonic projector, I know, and some other big ones, like they would have maybe 4 or 5 of these little screw holes on the bottom, so you can kind of pick and choose which ones you want to use. And then maybe you have like, usually you'd get like extra arms and, install a third one somewhere, wherever the other screw hole would be, right? So something with 3 arms is better if you can get to the screw holes properly. And that's basically it, right? So once this is on, the big part we would have already screwed into the ceiling, and then just go up, attach that, boom, boom, and it's there. Once that's up, usually you have some room to tweak the angle of the projector with these 2 different axes of movement here. You kind of just loosen these things, and then you can, get the projector level or angled in whatever way you want it to. Usually, like in the past, I've tried to purposefully maybe have projectors kind of angled like that. So I guess maybe it would be like, this is really tight right now, so I can't get it. But if this would be kind of up, projector might be installed at an angle like that. I've actually noticed that, this mount's it's reasonably expensive, I guess, but over time, there's really slight drift. When you put some weight on this, the screw kind of slowly kind of gives. So in times, I've wanted the projection to stay like millimeter precise, not move at all. And so that's been kind of a pain in the ass to get this to really, really, really stay in one place. If the projector is totally level like that, it's not going to be that much of an issue, because it kind of just wants to stay in that position. So, okay, that's a quick overview of attaching a universal mount.